I should start by saying that there is frustration. I spoke to some actors in Hollywood and some directors, Arab American directors and actors and writers, and they are frustrated. And they have been, at least during the time of I was writing, there's a lot of frustrations. This was like the first decade of the 21st century, and also some of that frustration still live on until the moment. But much of the frustrations were surrounding the kind of interest that Hollywood production companies have when it comes to representations that deal with Arabs or Islam or meanings of identity that relate to the Middle East in general, really. That there is not much interest, not much curiosity to learn more about these cultures. And there's a fixation on narrating their stories from a very American, or what is supposed to be in a very American sort of way of thinking. I mean, my first surprise was immediate, which was learning in Hollywood how historically this has been going on, the issue of misrepresenting Arabs and Muslims and in American cinema in general. That was like the immediate surprise, is that this history goes all the way back to the silent cinema era, and in which you start seeing films produced since 1900s, 1910s, 20s, 30s, and no matter what technology comes to Hollywood, somehow filmmakers manage to reinvent the stereotype in a way that is more appealing, more shocking, more exciting for viewers somehow, and before there was sound, before there was, and even when the sound came and when the color came, when the technology of color came, you start seeing that idea reinvented over and over and over again. So that was like my first surprise, was to see the depth of history here, how historically the filmmakers in Hollywood have been persistent in presenting, associating Arabness in general with fear, evil, backwardness, primitivity, anti-Americanness, you name it. The list is a very long one. When it comes to film, I think there has been quite important growth, but the problem is you're up against an industry, a big industry. Hollywood is just such a homogenous, giant, industry that sinks competition quite easily, right? And I think that the field of filmmaking is still in need of growth in a way that could potentially end up shaping how not only Arab Americans themselves see each other and see themselves, and the younger generation, for example, look up at the models and see their own stories and hear their own voices, but also in how mainstream America could also understand Arab American story, the Arab American story, right? Beyond the stereotype, beyond the victim mentality, beyond, these reductive sort of ways of looking. So in a sense, then filmmaking is a powerful educational institution, if you like. It has a powerful educational purpose. Hollywood, unfortunately, dominates that. And there's a certain way of doing business in Hollywood that constantly favors a white perspective over a minority perspective, and I believe that we have yet to live in an era in which I could comfortably say that Arab American filmmakers have managed to reach maturity. And in my imagination, that maturity would be in the form of having structures that support filmmaking in general, not only in terms of featuring festivals in which you do distribution, but also you oversee the whole process from the writing stage to the production stage to the distribution stage. But also I wanted to see an opportunity, a space in which the Arab American filmmakers have managed to tell their story to their own community, but also, quite importantly, also to the broader mainstream society. And I believe films are the easiest to reach people, because it doesn't require really, you don't need to be literate to watch a film, right? You don't need to be sophisticated in some way. You don't have to have access to a specialized knowledge or language to understand a film.